Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening, Andrew.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. It sounds like the first line of an Arthur Askew song, doesn't it?
Yeah, a bit, yeah. So that's the episode we watched tonight. And
Are You
we're
Being
still
Served?
on Are You Being Served, the full series. Well, we've just finished it, actually.
But
Got
it's the
Christmas
last-
special to go.
The last episode, apart from the Christmas one.
Yes.
What colour is Mrs. Humphreys?
Mrs.
Humphreys. What colour is Mrs. Slocum? We don't know what colour Mrs.
No,
Humphreys is.
no, we don't. It's sort of orange.
Orangey, burnt orange, is it?
Yeah,
It's sort of darker
it's
than
a weird
normal
orange.
Mr. Humphreys is worried as Captain Peacock hasn't come in.
No, he's late.
He's late, and that never happens.
No.
Mrs. Slocum, meanwhile, is up for
A buyer's
buyer's
position.
job and is going to be interviewed by personnel.
Yes.
And if it was a bloke interviewing her, she'd wear a short skirt.
No, she said she'd wear a shorty skirt and cross her legs.
Yeah.
And why am I getting Basic Instinct?
Oh dear. Okay. Mr. Harmon appears,
Yes.
and he's got a wig.
He's got a trolley with a load of sort of heads and wigs on.
But this is like a sort of stunt wig, isn't
stunt
it?
wig. Yes, it's
It's a beauty bonds party wig.
party wig that you can wash and scrunch up and wear.
And then there's some sort of thing that you operate, and it goes whoop, like that, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's like some sort of clown.
Yes.
What would be the point of that?
I don't know.
I don't know. But he puts one on, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it suits him?
No.
No? Oh, right, okay. I didn't mind it. Mr. Rumbold's secretary has also not come in either.
Yes.
So apparently there were goings on at the Christmas party,
Yes.
weren't there?
Yes. Captain Peacock was chasing her with his blow tickler.
Yeah. Have you ever been chased with a blow tickler?
No.
Have you ever blown a blow tickler?
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Like that. That's how they go. I haven't got one.
I
but
know how they go.
I can mime it.
I don't think I. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Mm.
But Miss Brown says she's a bit common though.
Yes.
But Mr. Harmon says, well, so are you.
Mhm.
You know, you're not exactly, what was it? How did he say it?
I can't remember what he said.
Esther
Ensign Rancid or something.
I don't know what it was. But apparently Miss Brahms does live in a detached house.
Yes.
Yes. Because all the others were demolished or
Knocked
something.
down, yeah.
Knocked down. But yes, Mr. Granger is of the opinion that mistletoe at Christmas parties always causes trouble.
Yes, it encourages people to do things they wouldn't necessarily do.
And apparently they were playing Postman's Knock.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I honestly don't know how you play Postman's Knock. Do you know? Should we have to look it up?
Probably. God, we've lived a sheltered life.
I have genuinely no idea.
No.
It's one of those things you hear about,
Yes.
but I have never encountered.
It's something like hide and seek, isn't it?
Well, no, because they mentioned sardines, and
Well,
sardines
is just hiding in.
is where you hide, and
Hide,
then when
yeah.
you find the person, you have to hide with them. Because isn't there an episode of
Yes, there's an episode of
number 9?
yeah, whatever it's called, inside number
In
9.
at number 9?
Where loads of people end up in a cupboard.
Yeah.
It's sort of like Timothy West and loads of other people.
Yeah.
And it gets increasingly claustrophobic
Yeah.
the more people go in.
But apparently Captain Peacock had offered the secretary a lift home to Reading.
That's a long way to live. You're working in central London, Reading.
I've been to Reading.
Okay.
I visited the university once.
There's still a long way to go, though.
Yeah, not from London.
No.
But don't remember much about it. But there you go.
I've never been to Reading. I've been through Reading
Through it.
on a train.
Mr. Humphreys answers the phone, and he doesn't say menswear.
No,
he
he
says
says
men's apparel.
Men's apparel, yes.
Apparently, he's assistant number 13.
It's unlucky for some.
Number 13 on what scale there?
I have no idea.
How are they measuring it? Not in the
No idea.
department.
No.
Because there's not 13 in the department. Unless historically there have been 13 over the years in
Maybe,
the department.
yeah. Possibly, yeah.
I refuse to believe he's like number 13 in Grace Brothers,
No.
though. no matter how you measure it, alphabetically or when he joined.
Yeah,
or,
so perhaps he was when he joined. He was assistant 13 to join that department.
Maybe. But it's Mrs. Peacock on the phone, asking about Captain Peacock's visit to the sales conference in Birmingham that he apparently
Has been on.
But they sort of cover for him a bit,
Yes.
don't they? And say he's embedding.
He's embedding, dealing with a customer.
And Mr. Lucas does his Fife Robertson impression.
Yes.
Because apparently Fife Robertson is being fitted with a sporran.
Yes.
But they conclude that he's not been home all night. Oh dear. But Mr. Granger says he once went off the rails in bathroom fittings.
Yes. There was a girl in haberdashery.
And he got her into trouble.
Yeah, he got her in the club.
The Pudding Club.
Yes. I love the way he goes off saying, you didn't invent it,
Yeah,
you
do
know.
you think you invented it?
Yes.
But yes, Captain Peacock and the secretary arrive in separate lifts.
Yes.
But accidentally
Covering each other's bags.
got their other got the other one's case
Bag.
or what
Yeah,
luggage.
I just said that.
Yes, but everybody's looking away, but they're holding up mirrors to see what's
going on.
Yeah. And then they pretend that they haven't noticed. You know, la di da di dee 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 dee. Goes Mr. Humphreys. The phone goes again, and it's Mrs. Peacock again. Apparently, her brother saw Captain Peacock driving in Reading
With a girl.
With a girl. It appears he's got a Ford car with sort of dents in it and stuff.
Dents and missing hubcaps and a smashed wing mirror, isn't it?
But she's going to come in. Yeah. Another Fife Robertson impression, and the sporran will ride up with Ware. But all this goings on isn't surprising if you watch Coronation Street.
No.
According to Mr. Humphreys. But yeah, Captain Peacock is called in to see Mr. Rumbold. And the secretary's trying to explain what happened.
Yes.
And it's the sort of traditional Mr. Rumbold getting
Confused.
things wrong.
Yeah, getting things, wrong.
Now she says she'd been with Stephanie in Carl Shelton.
Yes.
Not Stephen in a car shelter. That one's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's all to do with like her friend went off with her handbag with her season ticket in it or something. But yes, Mr. Rumbold is of the opinion that the girl is getting into bad company. But Captain Peacock says, basically, can he sort of cover for him? And could he pretend that he's been at this sales conference with him
in Birmingham?
Yeah. But he's not really sort of up for that, even though apparently they've known each other for 14 years. And he was in London last night. Then the secretary's father is on the phone, and first of all he gets told she was with Stephen in a car shelter, but he's going to come in, and Captain Peacock wants the rest of the day off. So yeah, the interview with Mrs. Slocum's going to go ahead
in Mr. Rumbold's office.
In Mr. Rumbold's office, and Mr. Rumbold says he can help by being elsewhere if Mrs. Peacock calls.
Yes.
Yes. So the bad news is that Captain Peacock's wife.
No, Mr. Harmon goes up to Captain Peacock and says, "Do you want to know the bad news
or the good news?"
Or the good news.
Bad news is that his wife's just come in, and the good news is there's a sale of bulletproof vests
in the sports department.
And I don't think there is. I think he's just made that up.
He's joking. Yeah.
But yeah, the lift doors open, and this old woman with two sticks starts to wobble out. And, you know, clearly the worry's aged her, hasn't it?
That's what Mr. Lucas says.
That's what Mr. Lucas says.
Yeah.
But she's not happy, and she wants to know where he's been. And he says she won't cause a scene in public, but she's a bit loud over it.
Yeah, she kind of does.
Yeah. But yeah, she threatens to kick him right in the middle of the gentleman's department. That's quite a clever one.
Yes.
And she's changed the locks, and put his dinner jacket down the toilet.
Yeah, that's just going to cause her more problems, surely.
Yeah, no.
It'll block the ear bend.
She's going to get all bunged up if she does that. And done stuff with his pyjamas.
Used his pyjamas to clean the chimney.
Yeah.
And polished his shoes with his shirt.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, we're back to the Christmas party and the blow tickler again. So she goes off to Mr. Rumbold's office, and then there's more crossed wires because Mrs. Slocum thinks she's the woman
from personnel
who's interviewing her,
and she thinks that she's Mr. Rumbold's secretary.
Yes, who's had it away with Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're older than I expected. So it's quite cleverly written the way that they're each sort of got a different point of view. So you're older than I expected. Yes, but I've got the enthusiasm of somebody younger and lots of experience. It's not the first time I've been up for this sort of thing. Anything to get out of underwear, though. But yes, more bad news. The girl's father is here. Glass of water for Captain Peacock.
Yeah.
So Captain Peacock sort of makes himself scarce.
Yes, and the really bad news is that his wife's chasing Mrs. Slocum down the stairs, hitting her over the head with her umbrella.
With her brolly. So Mr. Granger takes over from Captain Peacock.
Captain Peacock, yeah.
And he does some brilliant leg action,
he
doesn't he? He's sort of wandering about shaking his legs, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because he's wanted this position. He's
wanted this job for 11 years or something. Yeah.
And then he's sort of doing the floor walking thing, and Mrs. Slocum runs past, hotly pursued by Mrs. Peacock, who's hotly pursued by Captain Peacock. It's a real sort of Benny Hill
it is a bit
moment,
Benny Hill,
isn't it? You know? The father turns up with a wedding cake, and of course, because Mr. Granger's now the floor walker, he assumes Mr. Granger has spent the night with her, and he's ruined. You've ruined my daughter's reputation.
Yes.
And Mr. Granger is confused as that was 25 years ago. So yes, but yeah, her fiance's walked out, and the cake was for the wedding, and the cake is put on
dropped on Mr.
Granger's head.
Yes.
And he's left with the sort of, is it the base bit?
Yeah, it's like a sort of cake.
It sort of collapses, doesn't
it?
And he's sort of wearing it like a collar. But then they hold an inquiry with
in the boardroom.
Yeah, with Mr. Grace and Mr. Rumbold and the secretary taking notes, and
Mr. Harmon.
And Mr. Harmon for some reason. Why Mr. Harmon's?
Because he's there.
Just to get him in it.
Yes, just so that you don't have to employ somebody else to do that.
You're right about Mr. Harmon's got a wide range of duties.
Yes,
But yeah, apparently Mr. Granger has ended up with currents in both ears.
Yeah, because he can't hear anything.
And this is the real sort of like confused Mr. Granger stuff that I really like. But yeah, they're going to have an inquiry into the affair, but Captain Peacock doesn't like the use of the word affair. So they go for occurrence instead, and Mr. Granger just hears the word currents.
Yes.
And he's going to sue for that. But the assault was witnessed by Mr. Harmon. Yeah.
This is the assault on Mrs. Slocum.
That's right. And Mr. Granger thinks he said assaulted almonds. Some of this is like pushing it a bit.
Yes.
Then there's some stuff about Mrs. Slocum's in the mood or something.
In a mood.
And young Mr. Grace thinks that's Joe Loss.
Yes. Is that Joe Loss?
In the mood.
And Mr. Rumbold's utterly bewildered as to what's going on now.
But yeah, should they send for Ellery Queen or something? No, I don't know Ellery Queen. Who?
I thought Ellery Queen was a writer.
Right.
I thought he was like an American crime writer.
I thought it was a detective or something.
It might be.
We'll look it up afterwards and put it in the notes if we're wrong.
But
yeah, Mr. Humphreys is of the opinion that Ellery Queen is the best Ellery to send for. Yeah, at least Mrs. Slocum's hair was double lacquered.
This for the interview. So it stood up to a bit of pounding
from the umbrella. The umbrella's been confiscated. It's on the desk, isn't it? Yeah.
And
then Miss Hazelwood comes in.
That's Mr. Rumble's secretary.
Yeah. This is the first time you hear her name, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Yes.
So, but she thinks having an affair with Captain Peacock would be unthinkable.
Though she was doing a lot of flirting with him earlier on, wasn't she?
All right.
When she left the office sort of giggling and everything.
All right, but yeah, clearly she's
changed her mind.
All right. And suddenly, as a major sort of plot development, as out of Mr. Granger's left ear comes a sultana, not a currant.
Not a currant, it's a sultana.
After all, so that is placed on the table as Exhibit A.
After it's been removed from underneath Miss Brahms's bottom.
Yeah, he drops it and Miss Brahms sits on it. But yeah, in comes Mrs. Peacock and young Mr. Grace asks whether that's his wife, and he's just of the opinion sooner him than me.
Yes.
It's a little rude, but then she sort of bursts into tears, doesn't she? And Mr. Humphreys says he knew a petty officer just like that. Yeah. Exhibit B is the blow tickler, and Mr. Harmon has a go with it, doesn't he?
Yes.
Mr. Humphreys was also pursued by the blow tickler, though, as indeed was everybody else. So young Mr. Grace's secretary is taking notes and is told to cross out blow tickler on her list. But apparently they were holding hands in the canteen, which people have been talking about. It turns out Captain Peacock was comforting her and offering her advice about getting married.
Yes.
Basically, he was against it because she was like not experienced or something. But he took her to, what was it? Beppo's Cafe for a coffee. That's hard to say. And yeah, there's Captain Peacock and Mrs. Peacock sort of both squaring up, and Mr. Harmon just points his hand in between, silencing court break, you know, like, as though they're like wrestling. But apparently they were 6 miles outside Reading.
And his car broke down.
And there was no current in his battery. And that it wasn't a current, it was a sultana in Mr. Grange. See, we keep coming back to that. Young Mr. Gray says it's all very complicated. But Captain Peacock gets to do a little speech about integrity, and you get a proper little zoom in on him as he's doing his sort of soliloquy. And it's sort of written in sort of like it's some sort of 50s sort of film, isn't it? And Mr. Humphrey says, I didn't think people still talk like that anymore. And then everybody sort of makes up, don't they, really?
Yes.
Because Mr. Rumbold says, if I heard truth, it was then.
Mrs. Peacock hugs Mr. Peacock, Captain Peacock.
Yeah.
Mr. Rumbold says he hopes they sail off into life storms into old age, stormy waters into old age. Captain Peacock looks quite long-suffering and says, we probably will.
And then suddenly, everybody's sitting as though they're in a school photo.
Yeah, or like a jury.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
No, can't possibly.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me of this is to get the group shot at the end of the season, because it's the you have been watching and everybody's in that shot at once. So you get the individual shots, and then the final sort of image is the wig at the end, and right at the end it goes whoop, and that's it when the final credit appears. What do you think of that one then?
It's a silly one.
I didn't remember a lot about it.
Actually. No, I didn't remember too much.
I can't remember the last time we watched that one.
No, not for quite some time.
We must have skipped over it if we sort of picked episodes. But it's a weird one because it doesn't quite hang together. Because as you said, the sort of secretary is. You're never quite sure what the relationship is.
She's sort of simpering at him, isn't she? And doing the sort of giggly thing, and then bless you. Oh, excuse me. And all of a sudden, she wouldn't sort of, go near him if he was the last man on earth, kind of thing.
Yeah. So interesting, but perhaps not the best one to end on maybe. No. But we still have the Christmas
We do.
Special to go. So we will jam that in before Christmas.
Yes, we will try and do that Sunday or Monday, so the 23rd or the 24th.
And we want to do at least one more Christmas special before Christmas,
yes.
don't we, if we can?
Yes.
So there you go.
And it might include Molly Sugden.
It might be more Molly Sugden in a different thing.
A different thing, yes.
Okay. Say good night then, and see you again.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.